Women Matters. Again, we meet after the Easter break, let's say. We are almost at the end of April 2026. And again, several continents and countries united. We are, no, only Christine and Victoria, you are in the same country. Then Hanneli in South Africa, Gertraud in Germany, me in Italy, Gina in Canada. So I find that after all these years, I find it absolutely amazing that we can connect in this way over these huge distances. So, as always, a short check-in. Who wants to start?
If you don't mind, I'll start because I'm actually going to be heading to Vancouver in a few minutes. I just wanted to spend a few minutes with you.
Okay, good.
But I still am a little bit on the packing side. It was a bit of a busy day. Great here in Victoria, sunny. School's going well, getting lots of interviews done. Absolutely loving interviewing my older adults and their fascinating lives. It's been so enriching. And the garden is still in bloom because we had enough cold weather that all our blooming trees held on to their blooms, but the tulips are up. So, and I will leave around 9:30 because we have to jump to catch a ferry. But nice to see you all.
I'll go next. This is Christine in Carlsbad, California. Um, Spring arrived early. Everything's blooming about a month ahead of schedule. And I have so many winter clothes that I never got to wear. My sweaters that I look forward to wearing for a change of pace. But yeah, they weren't needed. It was been very warm. Um, about 10 days ago, took a road trip with my daughter, Alexis. I think I might have mentioned this. She is going to become an air traffic controller for the FAA, which is our Federal Aviation Organization. And yeah, so she had to go to Oklahoma City. So she and I drove 3 days to get there. It's halfway across the country. So it took a 3-day trip to get her there and help settle her in. She's 28, so it definitely is a good thing for her to be spreading her wings and doing something different. Um, yeah, so all in all, the trip was very good. She and I got along great, and I think I hope she would interpret it the same way. Um, yeah, but we had a good time, and of course now Tom and I are adjusting to not having her around. Um, just little things and just missing her, and then just little things you expect her to be there. I think of her, oh, I've got to save this for her, and I realize, oh, I don't have to save it for her.
Mm.
That kind of stuff. So it's an adjustment. Yeah. So, and other than that, everything is pretty much okay. And that's about it for me.
Good job. Go ahead, Anneli.
Who decides of you
You
two?
you can go. Get out.
Okay, good. Easter, before Easter, yeah. So we had a wonderful Easter days with our two younger girls and their families, and it was really nice. And, yeah, it's just they are 3.5, the older ones, and one almost 2, the youngest. And this is just amazing, these little creatures. Yeah, and my husband has been in rehab till tomorrow, so I'm happy to have him back. And he got some good support for his frozen shoulders and the lymphoma. And
Can
yeah.
you put the blue box outside the door? Okay.
some good consulting, and I've been like, look here, I have a list and it's almost done. so I was really like, yeah, sending an invoice, doing the laundry, whatever. And that was really great. And I was Saturday, I was invited, like they have a seminar, and I was invited to spend some time there as a guest. And they talked about another workshop seminar going for one day. And it's called, I don't know exactly, but like it's about projects a bite at a time. So when you have a big project and think you never get it done, then you go there. It's just 150 euros. So I'm thinking about this, because when I'm looking at our house and we have to move out, because when the old lady who is 90 now is going to die, then our landlady will sell the house. So it's not acute, but yeah, we have to think about it. And I thought, maybe I'm going to do, when you're talking about life projects, Heidi, I thought that's a lot, that's really a life project. Like, what do I want to take with me in a new house, flat, whatever? And what do I want to leave behind? And then find somebody who's taking care of that. So yeah, to make life decisions, like getting married or moving, or yeah, and moving after 28 years with 5 people, and the girls have left quite a bit, and yeah, so that's about
Gertrude,
me. Yeah.
do you feel like your husband will assist you in any way with either the decisions or the actual logistics of it, or not?
Yeah, as far as he can. I mean, he cannot move his arms up, and so he's like reduced, but yes. But I thought, because I've already thought about it, but then, okay, if they have a method of doing this in a way that like helps my brain change, my mind, my attitude change, I would love that. Hi, Lauren. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that Saturday, to just get started and get another mindset. And oh my God, I'm never going to do it. So
Lorraine can relate to the downsizing and moving, so I don't know if she'll have any 2 cents to put in about that.
yeah, and we are planning. My 70th birthday is coming in May. And my daughters have invited us to Horace Farm somewhere, where all the kids, my siblings with their kids, and my kids with our grand. So everybody's come. I don't know how many people will be there, but this is getting closer to.
So, Lorraine, nice that you are here, but Hanneli was first, and then we come up to you, okay?
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Christine. My daughter is also spreading her wings a bit. And it's also for me very interesting to also just set her free, you know, that she can, wherever she goes. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'm just in a state of actually awe of having had so many acts of kindness the past few weeks, that I'm still trying to process that and to receive it in a state of grace. Yeah, it's just beautiful. This morning I went down. Here it's raining the last few days, and I went down. I had to go to the shopping mall. It's about a 50 minutes walk, which I love. And I looked at the weather predictions and it said, no, there will be no rain. And just as I left, a huge, a huge storm comes up. And like, I'm like a little bit already on my way. I'm like about a kilometer away. And a kind lady stops next to me and she gives me a lift. But there were so many synchronicities the last few weeks. It's just wonderful, which I'm truly grateful for. And I know Monia is also going through perhaps a time of mourning. 3 of her dear friends passed, and one of my friends passed of brain cancer 10 days ago. And when I just connected to Monia a few days back, it was just interesting that she had something similar happening in her life. So I could connect with her telepathically just to support her. And also honoring my own feelings and emotions about it, although I don't want her to suffer. And I was also deeply involved in speaking to her brother the evening before to ask if he's willing to let her go. So that was quite emotional, but also deeply sacred, which I'm grateful for. Otherwise, I'm good. Can't complain. And I'll pass to you, Lorraine.
I forgot one thing. We are invited from the Appreciative Inquiry Europe community to South Africa, to Cape Town, by one of our colleagues there who joined the European, so he's in the European call, same time zone. So they are planning on January to be there, like mid-January. And I'm thinking of that. So I just wanted to let you know.
Well, sorry about my lateness this morning. I guess Christine conveyed to you I was having internet problems, and and that was very interesting because I watched myself sort of devolve into this state of utter helplessness. I'd unplug this and replug that, and just and my phone and my computer went out at the same time, and I couldn't figure it out, and it was you know, eye-opening to see how dependent I am on all of that. And I guess we all are to some extent. But yeah, but sort of helplessness was the theme that got started in a call with my sisters yesterday. And I've got one sister whose political views are so far from my own and who talks like she's so utterly unhappy. I had that same feeling of helplessness. Confrontation isn't going to work. And so I just felt totally passive and utterly helpless. So that's my theme of the of the week. Just trying to, in a way, just trying to not run from these feelings and kind of live with them for a little bit and see what they are and what it's all about. Is this a problem with me, with my culture? Is it a problem at all, or is it just the complexity of things? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm sorry I missed some of your catch-ups.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if Victoria is ready to speak. Otherwise, I try. We were talking about maybe life projects as helplessness and wanting to follow their own emotions and look what is coming out and so on is also sort of a life project. And to be happy to be alone, and I mean, let children go is also a life project. I find it amazing that we more or less always come back to the same sort of of topic in the last few times, Either it was aging or it was change and transformation or something like that. As for me, I'm how can you say anxious and excited at the same time and calmer than I was before. as you know, we plan to marry, and we will do it now on the 4th of June in Denmark. And then I hope that the airplanes do fly still, and that we won't use all this stuff which makes the anxiousness. And the happiness is that it seems to work out with all the bureaucracy and all the things which you have to figure out. It's like learning something new, you know, you have to find out this, you have to do this and this and this and this and this full-time job. And then this strange situation. Normally, I wouldn't think about that, you know, maybe we don't arrive at the right moment there because of airplanes. So keep your, we say, thumbs that it will all work out. And as I said before, then in the end of June, we will do here a celebration. And whoever wants to come, we might not have enough room, but it's warm enough to sleep outside. So I don't know who else will come from his family and from my family and so on, and friends, and we'll be happy to do a big celebration and a big ceremony also, not church ceremony, but still spiritual ceremony by a friend of us. And this is my life change. And you know, I realized up so far in my life, especially here in my house, I was always doing it myself. My first partner refused to do anything, so I did. Then the second one, more or less the same, and it was more or less a fight. Then with Mark, who you know, he just let me do everything, and I asked him, "What do you want?" No response. So I always was, let's say, the boss, you know, and my ideas, and I'm used to it. And now, yesterday I wrote a poem, still 2 weeks, and then who knows how life will go when there is a person who really will enter into with his own ideas, and I have to let go of my habits and my usual ways of doing and thinking, and you know, that will be another big challenge. And I am really excited, but also oh that will be not so easy. So this is my check-in for today. And Victoria, are you here? No. So let's just go on, and when you want to add something to what you said in your check-in, or if you want to cross-refer to somebody else, and so we can develop the topic. Oh, here she is.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I wasn't able to come on camera. I've actually been listening, but I wasn't able to actually join you till now. But I've heard the check-ins. Fortunately, it's been a really long time, so I've missed you all, and I'm glad to hear all your news. So my check-in basically is, well, it would take too long to make a real check-in. Just an immense amount of turmoil, some very, very serious things. Nothing life-threatening, but definitely threatening in every other respect. And I will check in on behalf of Beatrice just because I heard the theme, and it's kind of what my late husband would have called a joke of the angels. Because Beatrice, as far as I know, at this very minute is in New York, where she was storing the entire contents of her Brooklyn apartment in the garage of her half brother, my late husband's son from his first marriage. And he's selling his house. So he sent her an SOS and said, "You've got to come and get your stuff because I'm selling my house." And so she quite precipitously had to go to New York. I haven't heard from her yet. I don't want to bother her because I'm sure it's total chaos. But it's her whole life from, I think she was in New York for about 4 or 5 years. So it's probably a huge amount of stuff. I never saw my stepson's house, but it must be immense that he could even store it all these years. She'd always had the idea she would move back to New York. but that doesn't seem to be the case. So anyway, I'm just sharing that because she would have been here had she not had this sudden emergency. She's coming here on Wednesday, and she'll be here, I think, almost 2 weeks. So she might be able to join our next session. So yeah, big times of turmoil. Yeah, and as I said, my turmoil is too complicated to even discuss, but I'm still here and glad to be with you all. Thanks. Yeah. So over to everybody else. Thanks. Oh, and congratulations, Heidi, in advance.
Let's wait. When we have done, then I will say, okay. And when he gets the permission to stay in Italy, that is the main reason, we are doing all this, because otherwise, after 3 months, out of here. So afterwards, we celebrate.
Well, I'll mention something that I'm trying to be conscious of. In
Wait
that,
a minute, Christine. I see that Gina is wanting to talk and she needs to go away. So
Yeah, just
okay.
wanted to say thank you, Heidi, for noticing. Sorry, Christine. Great to see you all. Great to hear your check-ins, and I'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And hopefully, I'll have something fun to talk about from Vancouver. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm trying to be conscious and aware of slowing down my reactions. And it's mostly involving Tom, and having been married so long, and this is a little tip, Heidi. He and I know each other so well. Somebody says something and the other person already has a reaction before they've even finished saying what they're going to say, because we know where things are headed, right? That familiarity. And I'm trying to slow down and say, how do I want to ask myself, how do I want to reply to this? Or how do I want to react? Do I maybe not even want to react? So I'm just trying to slow it down so I can be more conscious and intentional about how I reply. Because if I don't, I tend to, I know myself well enough to know that I'm tending to, I don't know, come across with some impatience or frustration or annoyance, or just again an assumption. Assuming is just as bad as any of those other things. To assume that I know what he's going to say or what it's all about. So I'm just trying to slow down. If you guys have any tips when somebody says something and it may be a trigger, or even if it's not a trigger, again, some assumptions, how to create a little bit more space so I have a chance to decide. That's what I'm doing.
Viktor Frankl, right?
Mhm.
Does everyone know Viktor Frankl?
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's I mean the question is how to do it. but this is my weekly discussion with my therapist. So Christine, yeah, well you have all the skills and the training and the knowledge.
So if you want a reply to that, what I suggest is 3 times breathing deeply. Remember to breathe in and out 3 times, and then see and observe what is happening with the breath. That would be probably how I would do it. And observe also what is in the body, what is moving and so on, without react on it. Just notice and put the attention on what is happening in the body. And then later talk, yeah, sure. Katra?
Yeah, I have done a video in German, and the text for that, it's called "Triggered: What to Do," and so I could translate the paper for you, and maybe even send you the videos so you can. I mean, you might not understand the explanation, but you see what I do. So because we have, yeah, come up with quite a bit for like there's a street light model, like when you're in red, it's like on adrenaline and cannot think properly. So how to, yeah, if you're interested, I can do that.
Yeah, it's not so much that I become in fight or flight or I'm overly emotional about it, but it's just I want to just be a little slower so
Mm-hmm.
I can choose. And I think the somatic thing may help. Although most of what's going on is in my head, but I can check in with my body, my gut in
Mm-hmm.
particular,
Mm-hmm.
and also just kind of breathing always helps slow things down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Christine, you know, you know what I've been working on the last few months. I'm I got triggered in an integral uh, uh, meeting, and I've been trying to track it, and it was damn hard. I started with my body, and but now I have a lot of time to do this. This is why I was doing it, because before my life was too busy to do this kind of thing. But I when I when I spent some time with it, I realized there was something in what I was hearing that felt dangerous. Now, I'm sort of going off the deep end here, and that may not be anywhere near what you're talking about, but I followed it as though this were a real thing, small danger. It's not like my life is threatened, but there was something about what the instructor was saying that after I sat with it for a while, and again, starting with body, but also letting feelings and memories and all of that other internal stuff rise to the surface, I discovered sort of a boundary for myself. There are some things about integral that distress me. And I gave myself a chance to create a boundary in my own mind and just say, it's okay, because this is me. And I can't go to that place, and I don't have to anymore. Part of my distress was trying to talk myself out of feeling that way because it puts me at risk for remaining in the group. And these are small things. This is not survival stuff. This is, just subtle things. So, there may be something about the particular way that he talks about things or presents things that might be a little irksome or that sort of don't fit with you in some way. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth going down that rabbit hole for you. For me, I had the time and I had the space in my life, and it was interesting to follow that path. So now it's like one of the things my triggering, and I did call it triggering, does for me is make me realize what my boundaries are. Not just that there's something horrible and terrible I'm supposed to, dig out of myself and fix, but that, this is not a comfortable thing for me. Somehow bringing it to the surface helped me not get as reactive, but I had to become aware of it. Um, One of the backdrops for me in relationships with men is we really are different. We really are different. And I've had two marriages that ended. So, this is a theme in my life, and I love to get to the bottom of it. You have a very successful marriage. So this is just a little, just a little moment. So again, it was just an interesting journey for me and took me out of that mindset of blaming myself. This is about me. This is about some failing. I'm too much of this. I'm too little of that, and just, you know, well, you know what I'm saying. I can go on and on. It was almost like following your curiosity. Isn't this curious? Huh. I wonder what this is.
Interesting.
I just stumbled yesterday on a very famous passage from one of the Buddhist sutras, about how if you experience something pleasant, you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm experiencing something pleasant," and then if you're experiencing something unpleasant, you say, "Oh, I'm experiencing something unpleasant," and if you're experiencing something neither pleasant nor unpleasant, you say, "Oh, I'm experiencing something neither pleasant nor unpleasant." But it made me wonder, this is something I've always, and interestingly, that because, since we have two professionals on the call, with DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, I always have wondered, because the founder of that modality based a huge amount of her work on Buddhism. But I was thinking yesterday, because I literally just stumbled on this. It was in an email from some organization or something. And I knew it already, but I thought, um, the thing about life is to embrace it and to participate in it. And I know that my depression um, is always at least temporarily ameliorated by jumping into some activity and going out. Even if I'm exhausted physically, it's safer for me to go out and do something than to stay home and rest, because I'll just plunge into the vortex of despair. So I was wondering what you think of that, like because this standing back and observing, like Lorraine is talking about with curiosity, which is definitely like everything I've ever learned and heard from from my therapists over the years or whatever. Um, how does it seems like a paradox? How does that fit with that jumping in? What DBT talks about, participation, where you observe, you describe, and then you participate, and this sense of um, embracing life. It seems, I don't know, because I feel like there's some kind of paradox there that I'd love to like unpack. I've always wondered about that, because I'm very good at jumping in with great enthusiasm, and it pulls me right out of my depression, and I'm just in the best of shape for a while, until whatever it is over, and I have to go back back to the dailies and back to my house and back to all the tasks and challenges. So that's what I'm trying to work with, is balance. Like, how do I have that, keep that equanimity, that like Buddhist equanimity, and still allow myself to enjoy life and to love it. So I'd love to hear what all of you have to say, because that's really a struggle for me.
Um, just to jump in, because I've struggled so much with this so-called Buddhist equanimity. Um, my heritage is Southern Europe. We feel. Our bodies react. So, for me, the Buddhist equanimity can be dissociation. Um, I think what I was trying to sort out for myself is not non-attachment, it's not detachment, it's total attachment, in the sense of my body is reacting, my stomach is tensing, my jaw is tensing, and sort of using the Buddhist strategy of sitting with that, staying with that until like not running from it. The fight or flight or the freeze is running from the negative feeling. It's almost like we're convinced that what's in the core of us is terrible. It's, and that's so not fair to us. It's not terrible. It's just information. And the more sensitive you are as a person, I think the more you respond to what happens in your life. But um, so, the sitting with, when you want to run, um, to not run from the feeling, I mean, from the feeling, and see what happens. And if it's too terrible, don't do it alone. I mean, that's where therapists can come in. But when you've had trauma, you need a lot of support when you're doing that sort of thing. But the core belief is when you get to the center of you, it's not bad at all. You aren't a terrible person, you're just a person. And relationships matter. And you're keeping all of that inside, trying to fit into this crazy world where you're not supposed to go nuts on the outside. You're supposed to be calm and competitive and, you know. So, when you say that, it arouses tremendous compassion in me. I think that's another thing I found. I felt compassion for myself. I've made so many mistakes in my life. I wish I could go back and fix them. And those roll around in my head. It's like, why didn't I do this? And why didn't I do it? Well, I didn't. And that's got to be part of the evolutionary process, right? We're not taking risks if we don't make mistakes. That's how we learn, sadly. And then we blame ourselves. It's just not fair. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bunch of gibberish I'm saying right now. But anyway, something might strike a chord in you.
No, it's
I
great.
just,
It's
I
not
just feel,
gibberish at all.
I have posted a link because this morning I heard a video talking Richard Rath exactly about this topic, that it needs, and he also mentioned Ken Wilber, that it means not only enlightenment and whatever, and this calmness, but it needs also waking up and showing up and cleaning up and being completely immersed in life at the same time, so that you don't have, you better shouldn't concentrate on only one, as we know from Integral, but on all these aspects. And I found it very helpful what he was saying. And so the idea to enlightenment and be calm and quiet, yeah, it's good. But if it's only, then for me, it's a sort of spiritual bypassing. I have been in courses where they were all, oh no. What are you saying, Anneli?
I also resonate with Richard's. Richard is so calm, but I've seen him also extremely, like turbulent. Both sides, like you say, it's not one or the other. It's to not run away from it either, but also not to disengage. Yeah, it's because I'm so in my body, sensing my body, although I can also spiral in my mind as well. But I'm using creative thinking to get out of that spiral, and possibility thinking to get out of the spiral in my mind. But when I move, I can easily connect with it and move through it. So I use movement. That's why I need to move every day in some kind of way. Like the last few days, it rained so much I couldn't go outside. So I had to do something inside otherwise I get stuck, even if I'm not in a state where I feel depressed and so forth. It was very difficult for me when I couldn't move, when I had so much trauma here in Cape Town before, because I was contained in one small little space. But for me, it's movement. And so it's a both and. For me, it's not an either or. And it's just to sit with it, whatever comes up, and not judge it. Just allow it to go to the deepest feeling, what wants to come out. I saw something this morning about the difference of releasing and suppressing. So when we just suppress it and do other stuff, we still don't get to the core of it. But whatever way we use to release, to feel it, release it, is where the freedom comes in, which is on some, because sometimes we can hold on to it because we begin to identify with it or as it on a subconscious level. So we won't allow it to disperse and to really get to the core of it. But we're incredible beings. We have so many ways that we can actually work through it. And I totally agree with you that we need support as well. We do need support. We don't have to go through all these things alone. that just, we can, but it's not necessary. And that's even coming together like this, is support, which I appreciate. Now I can just share what happened with my friend when I asked him about his sister. And in that moment, it was not about my own feelings about her. It was just to be present with him while he's going through his feelings about it. And I just realized the wonder of having somebody that we can sometimes just sit with. They don't even have to speak. To just be present with us already helps a lot. What I want to bring into the conversation is I'm involved a lot more with younger people these days. Surrounded by more, because my daughter, I'm surrounded by a lot of younger people. And to see how they struggle to cope with what's happening in the world. So that the collective has such a big impact on their personal being. And I would like to hear what you say, Christine and Lorraine, and even get Gertrude, Johaidi, and Victoria as well. How can we better support them at this moment in time?
This may be controversial, what I'm going to say, but you all know me and I hope love me, so you will. Um, I spent a week with Beatrice a few weeks ago, and so was around. There's a big production going on, so I was seeing the people in the ballet company, and a lot of young people in that context, and a lot of angst and a lot of worry, and also some of the the things I'm doing online. It's very heartbreaking that the how much the younger generation is suffering, I feel, compared to us, our generation, because you know they one says they have their lives in front of them, and yet it looks like everything's falling apart and everything is being destroyed and there's no future. It's just devastating. And but then last night I went to the local Catholic university because I'm mentoring some musicians there, and they perform every Sunday night. Not perform. It's a Catholic mass, but it's for the student body. It's as opposed. There's a huge church on the campus which, people from the community go to. It's immense, and this is a tiny chapel where the students have their masses if they want to be intimate, or they can go the other one. Anyway, I can't begin to tell you. This was just purely experiential, like beyond any belief I may or may not have, or anybody may or may not have. It was palpable in that space, this incredible joy and compassion and hope. And the priest, who's very outspoken and he's Irish and very fiery, talked, he's very, very much a progressive politically and socially and otherwise. And he brought in the issues that are facing the world right now. And, and talked about how the students, how this is the future. They need to start taking responsibility, and, feeding the poor, visiting, looking after the homeless, all the things that you see in the Gospels, visiting the sick, comforting the dying. Very explicitly, and yet somehow the container holding this was so full of hope and love and joy that it felt like a privilege. Like I felt with these students like they were sort of being almost like a pep talk. I don't know, okay, you have been fortified. Go out, and those are always the last words of the mass. Since the beginning of Christianity. Go out. Ite missa est means go out. The mass has been concluded. And I thought, how wonderful to reclaim that power. Like, you come here to get bread for the journey and be fortified, and then go out and share your joy and your love and what you have to contribute. So anyway, I don't mean to proselytize, and I definitely, but just in that, when you were talking about the young people, and I just had that experience last night, and it brought me to tears because I thought, what a contrast when I had just been with this group of, with Beatrice and her friends, where they don't, they're wonderful people pursuing their careers, but they're in a crumbling world, and they don't know where to hold on. And anyway, it was just an interesting juxtaposition.
There's one sentence that is in the WeFlow stewardship context, that we don't presume what people need, but ask. Like, how do you want to be helped is the main sentence in our way of coaching. So, and sometimes just let us be surprised by what they say, because it might be completely different than we thought what they need. So when you talk about the younger generation, I would be even more cautious to dump my assumptions on them. But really, how do you want to be helped? How can I help you in your way of how you want to live your life?
What I heard from Victoria, and what I want to take out and name it clearly, is the ability which we, for instance, have, many of us have in our age, but not everybody, has developed to create a space so that the sacred, let's say, can come out. I heard
Yeah.
that in her, and I think this is how also our contribution could be, to try
Yeah.
to create spaces where people feel held and feel encouraged to overcome the anxiety, because it is a new illusion to think that we can stay without fear, that we can live without fear. Fear will be there, but courage is to do the things which are needed or which we want to do despite of the fear. And if there is an environment which is supportive, I think, as you said before, you don't even need to speak. But in this case, probably the words were important too, and also the suggestions. But to just offer this to the world, the energetic environment where people can feel encouraged. And I think that is, I feel it like a task for me, or like, what
Yeah.
to do.
I've wanted to reply to Hanali, and I'm going to say something that you already know because I know you're a very compassionate person. So this is going to probably be your own words that you've said at some time to other people. I think it's helpful when you're sensing somebody needs support, one, to start just with a statement that, oh, I've been touched by what you told me. The initial statement of just letting them know you felt a connection to them in some way, in whatever word, it's just one sentence, letting them know how you took that in and that it meant something to you. And then exactly what Gertrude said, ask them what they need. But I would take it one more and give them some concrete maybe examples. I can just listen. I can help you problem solve. I can provide and then offer some maybe logistical support that you think they might need, a ride, a meal, a prayer, or whatever. Because sometimes when, especially like with caregivers, they don't know what they need. They really don't know what they need. So you have to be a little bit more specific in what you really feel you could offer them, because they'll be like, I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with something, but oftentimes when they're in the middle of something, they don't know. So you can ask them what they need and then, maybe give them some choices of what you're able to do. But you know that. You've done it a million times, I'm sure.
I feel like this really dovetails beautifully with what Heidi said at the beginning about how now this looking to the future, this change of the role that you're in the relationship, that you were as the boss, and and you said that you even would ask Mark what what did he want to do or whatever, and he would say, he sort of deferred back to you, and it's that dance that in every relationship there's a certain yeah, you have to read into signals because some people don't. Yeah, I know, especially what you were saying, Christine, in the caregiving situation, that when my husband was dying, I had no clue what I needed or wanted, but the one thing I could feel that I needed and wanted more than anything else was companions on the journey. Just people to be, like you said, Hanali, just people to be there, just be present. And but I couldn't even articulate that. I was just grateful when people were there, and when they weren't, I could, I soldiered on. But it was, yeah. There's a. It all feels kind of like a dance, and with each person, it's a different dynamic, and it might change also over time. So I think it fits a lot. I think with what you were saying, Heidi, about now facing this very different relationship and how is it going to evolve, because we also get into patterns, like you were saying, Christine, at the beginning, patterns of relating to Tom, because the relationship is so long standing, and so there's certain what do they say about the neurons that wire together, the neural pathways are very deep. I know that very well from my own experience.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I can resonate with that as well, Christine. I mean, we're together for almost 40 years. So it's and the effort to create ourselves anew, it's worthwhile. So just 3 weeks apart is also kind of supportive in that.
Oh, that's an idea. I can go on a week-long vacation once a month. That is a great idea. Because even just taking that road trip with my daughter, and I was gone for 3.5 days, that was like, refreshing.
You're back. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So I wanted to add, a good thing is to have a new relationship, especially with somebody who is challenging you because he doesn't respond to your patterns.
Yeah.
You're like, ah. And it was so disorienting at the beginning, no? But he didn't do it as for on purpose. It just didn't land with him what I was, proposing out of my patterns, and it was so, how to say, helpful. And I learned a lot. Now I have to experience how it will be when we are together all the time. So that's a new challenges. I'm really curious. That's. And then other thing, to figure out, I'm very good in figuring out what the other wants. But I went over from the beginning in this relationship always to ask clear when questions and saying clearly what I see, what I need, and whatever, and not this assumption, oh, he has understood or I have understood. No, we haven't. And so I'm always asking questions, always. He's not yet so good in it, but he's better. And so I'm in somehow, you could say, leading the relationship, at least up so far. He's getting so much better in asking also me when I'm in different spaces, let's say. But I have decided it's not important if I lose the relationship by holding back. I have to have clarity, and I go always right into it. And this is completely new, how to create a relationship. So maybe also with older relationships it can work to be very clear and ask, what do you mean exactly, and things like that. And then I can give the other suggestion, which I think I've already talked about. There was a book in the 80s which is called Conscious Loving. And there are Hendricks, Gay and something Hendricks, Catherine Hendricks. And we were working through that book. And then there were the questions, for instance, what do you feel? What do you want? What do you need? How is the past coloring your presence? What is your gain when you keep stuck? And things like that. There were 7, 8 questions. And we still, every now and then, we go through this list. And for instance, he often, when I ask, how do you feel or what do you feel? Then he starts with telling stories. And I said, that's not a feeling. And so I sort of nail him. And then I see that he is going into himself. And then after a while, either comes a new story or he really goes into the feeling. It's also a question of habit. I mean of learning to respond to questions like that. If you are asked, how do you feel? I often don't know. I have to, let's say, to think about, to feel about what I'm feeling. So the more we practice that, I think the more it gets easy to be clear about the feeling. And even if there are mixed feelings, then to realize now I'm in anxiety, now I'm in overwhelmed, now I'm relieved or something, the feelings go so quickly also often. And to become aware of that, I find it a real huge step. And when you do that together, it's marvelous. So for me, it's really great. And that makes me hope that we can make it together because we have this clarity. That was already my checkout. Thank you for listening and doing this, that everything comes. Holding the thumbs, we say in German.
I don't know what that means. What
That
does that
means
mean?
good
I mean,
luck.
it's fingers crossed in German.
So,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
We in English we say fingers crossed. I don't mean to jump in, but I'm late for another meeting right now, so I'm just going to check out by saying how wonderful it is to see you all again. I've really missed you, and how nourishing it is. It's such a privilege, really. The wisdom in this room, Zoom room, not in this room for sure, is just wonderful. So. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm going to dash out. I'm sorry to miss the checkout from everybody else, but lots of love and hope to see you next time.
I began to put in the chat, Tom reminded me to suggest everybody attend ICON 2026 online, and it's May 28th through the 31st this year. And if you need a price reduction to attend, let me know, and then I will pass that on to Tom and see if they can adjust the online price. Of course, it would be wonderful if you attended in person, but not expecting that from Europeans and Africans. So, yeah, but it's going to be a good conference. So if you have any interest, go to the website, weareicon.org. Take a look at the speakers, and if you need help with the price, let me know.
I didn't know anything about it. So thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking also about two books. One is in German. Ja, die Antwort beginnt zu zweit von Michael Lukas Müller. And he says that, so the answer begins with two people. It's not what I have in my head might be true or not, but and he says, so he says people should listen to each other without interruption, just yeah. So asking question is one part, but then have some time that you can just say whatever you have to say uninterrupted, and the other one is listening. And yeah, and he has several sentences, I don't know, but one is ich weiß dich nicht. So I don't know you. I don't have a clue who you are. So please tell me. And Nancy Klein with the thinking environment or deep listening. Yeah, so I don't know the title of her book, but Nancy Klein, that came up after you said so, and I put the translation into the chat as well. I let Google translate it. I hope it's readable. I didn't check it. Yeah, it's nice conversation. Interesting. It's just like evolving. And thank you, girls, for that, ladies. And yeah, I'm looking forward to my husband tomorrow to see him. And yeah, have a wonderful time. And Heidi, so as soon as you know, I just check if it's possible for us. So how he is, and because I would love to come with him. So yeah. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. And Heidi also, yeah, it's really amazing. You just enjoy every moment. It's so inspirational, actually. When you said, you once said, yeah, just get a new lover. You said it a while back. And I thought, oh, that could be nice. Yeah. So it's really inspirational. Thank you. And also everybody, yeah, I can feel it in my cells and I feel it in my heart. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So we'll be together on the 4th.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your birthday?
It's May 4th?
Yeah. Is that your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that'd be good.
Do you want to come on your birthday?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
May 4th. Yeah. Okay.
And then when's yours, Gertrude? What day is yours?
24th.
24th.
Another
You're a Gemini.
Well, thank you, ladies. This was great, very inspiring, lovely to be with you and to share at, deeper levels than we usually do out in the world. So I shall return to my puddle of helplessness. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Christine, your checkout was already? Yeah, okay. So, thank you, ladies. See
Thank
you
you,
in 2
ladies.
weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.